All right, what's going on, everybody? You've got a lot of questions. Let's get to it right here on Twitch. Adam Azer, Shraggy B, Ben Schrager. What's up, Ben? Happy Tuesday evening to you.
What's going on? I'm just looking forward to Thursday, honestly. We've got a very fun game. That was last week.
You must be talking about all those baseball games that are going to be.
There's a lot of sports to watch. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on Thursday, but we're going to be watching a pretty terrible football game. But grab that Denver Broncos defense.
It might be the worst game of the year. I'm thinking, like, it's hard to imagine a worse game with ripping it up for the Broncos on
Blake
Thursday.
Bortles will be in at quarterback by the third quarter.
All right. Listen, we got some big announcements for you here. We got the Lowe's home team watch party for the Chiefs Patriots this weekend. Danny Woodhead, I'm going to ask him, did you know that you were once a top 3 running back in PPR in that magical, 2015 season maybe, whenever Devontae Freeman was number 1? Couldn't have been that long ago. 16? 17? I don't know. Figure it out by Sunday. And Damian Williams is joining us to watch his Chiefs. How cool is that? So that's going to be a lot of fun, everybody. And we've got, Ben, we got a star-studded cast on Sunday, huh?
Oh, it's incredible. We've got WWE talent. Kofi Kingston's coming on, former world champ Baron Corbin, the bad guy. So it's going to be pretty incredible on Sunday. And what better game to watch than Chiefs Patriots?
And who's joining us today other than Jamey Eisenberg at some point?
Jamey will come on at some point, Mr. Waiver Wire. But for Awadis, Brandon Awadis will be joining us. He's a YouTuber. He's a friend of mine. He's a big basketball fan, an even bigger fantasy football fan. He's been asking me about trades for the past week. So let's see if the chat can help him make some trades.
I didn't know he was a friend of yours.
He's a Twitter friend.
Okay.
We haven't met in person, but
okay. Well, this is how you meet in person these days. Oh my God! I just saw how crazy my hair looks. I was just looking on the computer. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm embarrassed.
It's the Twitch look.
Oh my gosh! What is this? What is this piece all about? Get down, dude. What are you doing over there? Oh, it's embarrassing. All right. So let's read some questions here. I got a lot of them coming in. Dalton Schultz or Mo Alley Cox in a standard league? It's Dalton Schultz. Add Cole Beasley or T. Higgins, and should I drop Traquan Smith, Malcolm Brown, or Curtis Samuel in full PPR?
I dropped Samuel for Higgins, but group's a bunch of meh.
I think I'm just if you're starting someone this week, I'll go Beasley. I don't know about John Brown's status. Long term though, T. Higgins, yeah. Hunter Renfrow or Laviska Shenault in PPR?
Renfrow. I did not like what I saw with Chenault's supposed increased workload. It wasn't a pretty showing.
No, it was not at all. I actually am very excited about Hunter Renfrow. I put in $8 or $9 bids in a few leagues out of $100 budget for Hunter Renfrow. I think I'm probably crazy. But
I put a $3 bid in, probably in the same league that you're talking about, so I'm not going to get him.
I got to tell you something. Are we in any leagues together? I feel like
you're in the FFT league.
You're in that one? Okay.
Are you in the salary cap league, or you got kicked out of that one? No.
I didn't get kicked out of anything, buddy. I didn't want to.
Yeah, you did. And then we got the Twitch league. You're a co-manager in the Twitch league.
Yeah. Where we lost our first 2 games by less than a point. All right, non-PPR from Serby114. Should I drop Evan Engram for Mike Gesicki or Dalton Schultz?
I would say no. I'd take Gesicki. Jamey, welcome. What do you think? Tight end, ugly tight end question.
No, it's not that ugly. Would you drop
Evan Engram
for Gesicki or Schultz?
Oh, Gesicki for sure.
Jamey, what? I can't tell what's on your shirt. Hold on. It looks like the top, like hair, like a ponytail. What is that?
It's
like a dog.
Sasquatch.
A dog with a ponytail, basically.
No, it's either a Sasquatch on a skateboard or Chewbacca on a skateboard.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's going on, Jamey? Welcome.
What's going on, man?
Not much. We're just answering some questions. I think we should probably address the COVID situation here. So the Titans have 3 players, including their starting nose tackle, plus a long snapper and a practice squad tight end testing positive. They have 5 or 6 more other members of the organization for now testing positive. So Their game against the Steelers right now, we're seeing that they're trying to play it on time. They could move it to Monday. There are ways to sort of manipulate the bye weeks and move it around. They play later in the season. You also have the Minnesota Vikings who faced the Titans this past week. They're temporarily shutting down their facilities as they do some tests, and hopefully they all come back negative. But the game against the Texans, right now, there could be a little uncertainty. We just don't know what's going to happen. So, Jamey, now as you make your waiver claims, should you at least be prepared for the scenario that your Titans, Steelers, Vikings, Texans, you're not going to be able to have them this week?
I think you should be prepared. I mean, obviously, you better, cover yourself just in case, so if you maybe were not going to spend any fab budget on a Jeff Wilson or Rex Burkhead or, any of the receivers that you were considering because you don't necessarily need them, well, maybe now you might. So take that into account. Hopefully your fantasy league is going to be either you already have IR spots in place for this, as we've been telling you throughout the offseason, or you have a commissioner that will make arrangements to give you an IR spot or two, because we just don't know how this is going to unfold. The way that I'm sort of seeing things right now, and maybe you guys have seen something different, but they sound as if they're playing the game. They may be playing it Monday, but they're going to play the game this week. So I think you should be okay. The NFL is obviously, planned for this to some capacity. So we'll see what, how this unfolds. Right now, the Titans are the team that you have to keep an eye on, just because it sounds like tests are fine for the Vikings. The Steelers are planning as if they're going to play. And so, if the Titans, at least the reports that even if they don't get into the facility until Saturday, they'll do a walkthrough and they'll play the game on Sunday or maybe Monday.
Okay, so this is kind of interesting. A lot of leagues, they set up IR spots. If you have a player who's on the COVID list, you can put him in the IR spot. But I think I never thought of this scenario, probably should have. If you have a player whose game gets canceled, you should probably be able to put that. Well, do you think like, let's say the Titans don't play, should you be able to put Derrick Henry even if he's not on the COVID list? Should you be able to put him in an IR spot?
Yeah. So, when this was unfolding, it was right before our FFT show on CBS Sports HQ. And, I was kind of talking through this with one of our producers, Mayron Berkson, who I commissioned a couple of leagues that he plays in. And I was just telling him my approach to it would be that if somebody has a player that has a game postponed, I will allow them to put them in an IR spot. So even though, like, a couple of my leagues, because I know the people will cheat, I've locked the IR spots to be where the player has to have an IR designation. So they have to be short-term IR, long-term IR if you're in a keeper or dynasty league, or COVID IR. And so with that said, I'll manually make the move to put a Derrick Henry there, to put a Juju Smith-Schuster there, to put somebody there that you want to stash. Now, you'd have to have that player on your roster. Like, I don't want to see somebody go and pick up Adam Humphries because they want to see what happens 3 weeks from now. I'm not going to let them do that. But if you have Derrick Henry on your roster, Ryan Tannehill on your roster, Jonnu Smith, the players that have been producing for the Titans, or in this case, their opponent, the Steelers, I think you have to be. It's just it's an unprecedented situation that we're dealing with.
Now, Jamey, if the bye weeks, this is their bye week, they don't have a bye week, does that player then have an advantage, or we're fine with that?
If they decide, let's say tomorrow, that this is their bye week, then I think you just have to treat it as if it's their bye week.
Okay.
It's only, I think, if the game is postponed. So okay. I think it's up to the commissioner. They're going to be leagues, and Heath said this on the show today. I think your league should have a discussion. Say, hey, how do we want to handle this? And so put it to a vote. Everybody's in the league together. I don't think it's one of those situations where somebody is just, running it as a dictator and you just, follow their gospel. So the hope would be is that, we're all in several leagues together. I think I'm the only one that's the commissioner. I think, Adam, you do the podcast league. We would have a discussion. Hey, okay, they're postponing the game till, I saw Pro Football Talk, for example, said they can move the Steelers Ravens game around something with their one team has a bye in week 7, Steelers have a bye in week, I don't remember the exact thing, but yes, they could maybe push the game to week 7 or week 8 for one of those two teams. Then this will be their bye week. And so that's just how you have to approach it.
Right. I think they play this game in week 8 and they move the Ravens-Steelers game to week 7, something like that. They can make this happen. All right, let's do some rapid fire questions here and kind of catch up because a lot of questions are coming in. Giant Gator fan, how much fab should I be spending on Carlos Hyde and Jeff Wilson if I have James Conner, Raheem Mostert, and James White as my running back? So he could use a running back here. How much fab on Hyde and Jeff Wilson?
I think you want to make sure you get one, if not both. And so, in your scenario, maybe Hyde makes more sense just because at least he's playing as opposed to maybe shooting for the upside of Jeff Wilson. So if it's $100 budget and depending on what you've spent, I would say probably go in the neighborhood of 15 to 20%. Like we said last week with Mike Davis, it's case by case specific. I lost Christian McCaffrey in one league. My story and my advice was spend around 20%. I had to get Mike Davis. I spent $40 of my $100. So I overspent based on what I was telling people, but I had to make sure I got him.
They've underspent.
So, yeah.
Good job.
And
all
Jamey,
right,
the strategy there would be you drop the same player so that you don't get both players, right?
Well, unless you want to get both. But,
if you're going all in, you're going to spend a lot of money. You
right.
want to drop the same player, I assume.
Yeah, because you don't want to like these guys could be 1 week replacements. Jeff Wilson might be useless this week. So you don't want to spend too much on both of them. All right, let's go. Crazy something. Hunter Renfrow or LaVisca Chenault?
I would rather have Hunter Renfrow for this week.
Should I trade James Conner for Myles Gaskin and Amari Cooper?
It's not enough.
No? Okay.
You know what though? I mean, Cooper's fair, I guess, in return. I'm at the point with what these running back scenarios have been. Like, I'd rather try and piecemeal my wide receiver core than try and find one of these running backs. Just the way that the season has unfolded so far.
From T-Pair, Deontay Johnson or Robert Woods at flex, PPR?
Well, Johnson may not play, so Woods for sure.
But even if he plays, Woods, right?
Woods regardless.
Yeah. Mad Lad Max, start 2. Chris Carson, if he plays, Kareem Hunt, Darrell Henderson. So you might not have a decision to make.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine if Carson doesn't play.
All right, but who would you play, Carson, Hunt, or Henderson?
I would probably not play Carson because he's not going to be 100%.
All right. Shraggy B, would you drop Devontae Freeman for Justin Jefferson? I'm set at running back.
You're set at running back? Yes. I'll take the upside of Jefferson long term.
All right. Oh, Anz Kopitar. Thank you. Adam, more a host than an expert with some weird emoji. Can't tell who that is. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. From Ma61187. Is Darrell Henderson worth using a big waiver on, or is the potential 3-headed monster of him, Brown, and Akers make it not worth it?
You have to get him at this point. You absolutely have to get him. If he's available to you, you take, even if it's just a 1 week scenario, you have to get him.
From I don't know, 68. Should I drop Henry Ruggs for Alan Lazard or Justin Jefferson?
Should you drop Henry Ruggs for Alan Lazard or Justin Jefferson? Lazard for sure.
Okay. Mahesh, confident O-meter on Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, and Cooper Kupp. Let's start with Mixon, guys. 0 to 10 on the confident O-meter.
I'll say 10 for this week, 7 moving forward.
How about Kenyon Drake?
10 for this week, 8 moving forward.
9 for this week, 6.5 moving forward.
How about Cooper Kupp?
10 for both.
Yeah, he's fine.
All right, from Fifth All, I don't even know. Justin Jefferson, should I add him and drop Naim Heinz, Malcolm Brown, or Brandon Cooks? Half PPR.
I mean, I probably would drop Cooks, even though the schedule's about to get a little bit better. But, all those guys are kind of in the same scenario. Like, I originally had, and I know I said this on the podcast today, I had Malcolm Brown in the drop list. I took him out just because, the more I thought of it, if Akers isn't back and Henderson gets hurt, Brown could be their guy next week. So, and Heinz, they haven't had a competitive game since week 1. So we haven't really seen his upside since then.
From Selfish Hades or Hades, I don't know, 36. What should I do with Le'Veon Bell?
I mean, hopefully you have an IR spot that you can stash him on, but he's eligible to return next week. We'll see if he's back out there.
Okay. All right. How about this one? Mr. Postman 218. Start is a start sit question in PPR. James Robinson, Kenyon Drake, Jonathan Taylor, and Thomas. Oh, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I get it. Very, very good. James Robinson, Kenyon Drake, and Jonathan Taylor, PPR. Who am I sitting?
Drake.
Yep.
Okay. Should I drop Naim Heinz for Myles Gaskin or Carlos Hyde?
For Gaskin, for sure.
Gaskin.
Okay.
Thank you for Gaskin.
What'd you say?
Thank you for Gaskin.
Thank you for Gaskin. That's pretty good. It is Team Name Tuesday, after all, ladies and gentlemen.
I got miles out of that joke.
Hey, Jamey, crushing it over there. Should I drop Golden Tate for T. Higgins in PPR?
If you're not playing Golden Tate, then yes. But Golden Tate's going to have probably a more of a stable floor moving forward. Somebody did suggest that is this maybe the changing of the guard and they're phasing out AJ Green to give T. Higgins more of an opportunity.
No.
I'd be surprised if that's the case, but who knows?
I think Darius Slay did a really good job last week. That's what I think. He's having a very good season.
Yep.
And
this is the week for AJ. It's the week for all the Bengals. This is
their
layup.
Green, though, Jamey, is like nobody throws on the bank. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking the other way. Nobody throws on the bank.
Nobody does throw on the Bengals to help AJ Green. You're correct.
Sorry, I got confused there. That's why I'm more host than analyst, although that was bad at both right there. Okay. Non-PPR from Scantron 3. Non-PPR, Evan Engram, Dallas Goedert, and I think I'm about to pick up Jonnu Smith. Who am I starting rest of season? Engram, Goddard, Smith.
Well, it's definitely not Goddard.
Right.
So I would lean on Jonnu Smith, who's been, one of the top 5 fantasy tight ends to start the season.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little difficult to find buy low candidates right now because some of the guys that I would like to buy low on are scoring touchdowns like Juju Smith-Schuster and Adam Thielen. I think the yards are going to go up, but they're doing enough. But Evan Engram is a guy, if you're in tight end hell like I am, he can't continue to be this bad. His numbers are almost identical to Logan Thomas's, and they're both getting like a good amount of targets and doing nothing with them. And I think Evan Ingram's better than that. So I'm not saying Jamey's wrong. I'm just separate thought. I'm going to make some offers for Evan Engram this week where I need to upgrade a tight end.
You absolutely should. I mean, he's got still the potential to be a top 7, 8 tight end. I don't know if he's going to crack the top 5 without something miraculous happening. But this is another team like the Texans. The schedule's been awful for them. And so it's another tough week, and so they're probably going to struggle again. But now you're going to start to see, especially with Shepard out and Saquon gone, a concentrated amount of targets going to Slayton, going to Tate, and going to Engram. And so I still think there's a lot to like about what this Giants passing game could eventually become. I mean, they still haven't faced the Cowboys. That's a miserable defense. The Eagles, they do have one good corner, but we'll see how that defense holds up over the course of the next several weeks. We know the Washington secondary is not very good. So once they get into their division games, there's going to be some big games ahead for those teams, or for the Giants, excuse me. And so I would absolutely think you can look at Evan Engram as a buy low candidate. The Texans obviously are buy low candidates across the board.
Texans, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably not so much Will Fuller because 2 of the 3 games he's come out so far playing well.
It doesn't sound like you. It doesn't sound like you have much faith in Brandon Cooks. You just had to drop him a little bit earlier.
Well, I mean, what was it for Justin Jefferson?
Maybe. Yeah.
Like you looking at the one game sample size of what Justin Jefferson was, if those targets start to go up, I think he's going to be good.
Schrager actually mentioned Justin Jefferson on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Justin Jefferson was playing outside, really like for the first time, basically, right? For the most time that we've seen.
He was 77% outside. Before that, he averaged 17% outside.
Big deal.
So he took over that BC Johnson outside role, which is great for him.
Just throw him the ball. I mean,
let it happen, man.
They haven't Cousins so far his season high is 27 pass attempts. Let's see 35. Let's see, close to 40. It's not in their MO. Obviously, they don't want to do that. That's not how they're built, but they may have to start doing that just based on how their defense is. And so if I think Adam Thielen's a great buy low candidate, because now you have a running mate opposite him that you have to pay attention to.
All right, Crazy Bay says Cole Beasley, Randall Cobb, or Christian Kirk in PPR.
Well, Kirk may not play. I don't think Cobb is better than Cole Beasley for what we've seen so far this season, and John Brown may not play, so that gives Cole Beasley more targets. He's had 20 targets through the first 3 weeks of the season, and Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. So Cole Beasley has been very underrated so far through the first 3 weeks.
Devontae Parker is on waivers, says Jordan Chong. How much fab would you spend on Devontae Parker?
Depending on what you've already spent and what you're looking at, close to 50%.
I would go over 50.
Or,
You need a wide receiver.
Jamey. Come on.
I'd go 65, 70.
Dude, he's a stud. He is so good. I was so wrong about Devontae Parker.
I haven't decided yet.
Ooh, I get to hear myself. Oh.
I may.
All right.
I may make Ryan Fitzpatrick start of the week.
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that. You know, I just asked Heath if we can drop Gardner Minshew for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and of course he said no to that.
He said no?
He said no. Yeah, super flex league.
But what's the difference in those two guys?
Well, one is Heath's best friend, and Heath's never met Ryan Fitzpatrick, so you know. All right, Ben Trager, your buddy's here. Brandon Awadis is here. Bro Awadis on YouTube. Welcome to our Fantasy Football Today Twitch party. Thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Brandon, you there?
It was a good intro.
It was. It's
very solid intro.
All right, we're gonna work on getting him.
We'll pretend he's here.
Yeah, we'll get it all sorted out. Stewie wants to know, what are your thoughts on Antonio Gibson and his value at this point?
He's been good. I mean, you know, I'll go back to what I said after week 1 that I wanted to see what was coming because, you know, first taste of NFL action and he was not outplayed. He was, I guess he was outplayed. He had, you know, fewer touches and fewer snaps than Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissick. But as we've seen, the last 2 weeks have been, you know, he's the guy and he's the only guy that you want in that backfield. And so he's a flex every week. And, you know, when the matchup is right, he's a starter.
Oh, there we go. Brandon is here. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming on. How are you?
How are you guys? Thank you for having me, by the way.
What's up, Brandon?
What's up, guys? I just want to say before we move forward that I love reading everything and everything you guys put out. I enjoy it a lot, and it helps me out a lot.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you're in 10 leagues, right?
What's up?
You're in 10 leagues?
If I was in 10 leagues, I wouldn't even have the time to open my laptop and talk to you guys right now.
All right. How many leagues are you in? I thought you were in like a whole bunch of leagues.
No. I only do one, bro. Anything more than that, and I'm so stressed out. I don't know how people do 3, 4, 5 leagues. It's crazy.
I don't know either.
Yeah, Brandon, I got a big surprise for you. We just entered you into 9 more leagues. You are in 10 leagues.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys are ready to run all my teams.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I got to just read the articles. It's so easy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's talk fantasy football here, man. Like, you know, who are some of your guys? Who's on your squad? Let's talk about your team.
My team. So I do a 12 team league, full point PPR. My squad is pretty solid. I'm 3-0 right now, so I can't complain. Let me read you guys some of the guys. So QB, I started off with Wentz. Dropped him after 2 weeks, and I don't regret it too much after last week's game. I picked up Minshew, who burned me against the Dolphins. So, yeah, I got to do something about my quarterback situation.
How are you 3-0? This is
okay. Let me continue. So, running back 1, I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so he's helped me out a lot. James Robinson has helped me out plenty as well, last game especially. My receivers, we have Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyler Lockett, both of them off to hot starts, so that's been nice.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry as a tight end. James Conner is my flex. I have Arizona Cardinals defense. It's been okay. Robbie Gould is my kicker. And I currently have Joe Mixon on the bench, which I'm not too happy about because I drafted him in the 2nd round over guys like Hopkins and Devontae Adams. So hopefully Mixon can turn it around, or else the end of last year was just a huge tease. But yeah, I got some guys like AJ Green, Alex Madison, John Brown, Deontay Johnson. So I'm pretty deep, but I do want to flip some of those for one more elite player.
Yeah, it's, you know, so Jamey, Ben, it's kind of an interesting point, right? He's got James Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Joe Mixon on his bench, James Conner. Are you looking to keep that running back depth, even though one of those guys is a bench player? We're getting into our bye week. So for fantasy managers out there who actually do have good running backs, you've got valuable commodities here. People in your league need running back help. Do you go out and try to make a trade and upgrade it at another position? Like Brandon could trade for a quarterback or something like that, get a stud quarterback. Yeah. Or do you just hang out in depth and let it play out?
No, I mean, I'm not going to lie today. And if anybody in my league is watching this right now, close the screen right now. But today I did go out and I was talking to a few different people to try to flip my depth. Me giving up 2 or 3 players in return for just 2 or 1 player. I was trying to get Ezekiel Elliott. I'm still talking. I don't know if you guys want to tell me what you think of this trade, but I was talking something along the lines of James Conner, Juju Smith, and Tyler Lockett for Zeke and DK Metcalf.
I think that's right along the lines of your question, Adam. Like, do you flip the depth into an elite guy? And I think, honestly, probably yes.
Wait, what was it again?
Right?
What was it again?
So it was James Conner, Tyler Lockett, and Juju Smith for Zeke and DK Metcalf. He also has Aaron Rodgers sitting on his bench because he has Russell Wilson. I have Minshew, so I'm trying to pry Aaron Rodgers away as well. He's kind of hesitant on that. But, I want to know what you guys think about that trade because I think if I could keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire and add Zeke and then keep one of or keep both of Mixon and James Robinson, I think that's kind of a no-brainer because then I could flip one of those Mixon or Robinson for another receiver. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So your starting running backs would be Robinson, Edwards-Helaire, and then Zeke, which is obviously an upgrade over Conner.
Yeah.
You're losing at your second receiver spot, but Deontay Johnson's obviously been really good. So you're starting DK Metcalf now and Deontay Johnson. So it's a slight downgrade there. But I think if you could get Rodgers thrown in, that I think makes it a trade that you win.
Same, because you agreed to do Metcalf and Zeke for my Juju, Lockett, and Conner. That's where I'm kind of like, you have Rodgers on the bench. You're starting Wilson, who's I personally think MVP this year so far, no debate. You're not going to sit him except for his bye week. So, yeah, if he throws in Rodgers, I'd say it's a done deal. And hopefully then I could flip Mixon or Robinson for another receiver.
All right, let me tell you something, Brandon. We got a poll going on right now on Twitch. Zeke, which side would you rather have, Zeke and Metcalf or Conner, Juju, and Lockett? Zeke and Metcalf is running away with it. 83% of the vote, 84% of the vote. So they like your side.
Okay. I hope the guy I'm talking to is actually not watching this right now. That would crush me.
It's not a bad trade for him. I mean, look, he's getting one of the top tier receivers in Lockett, who's been awesome. He's getting a good running back. As long as James Conner's healthy, he's going to be a monster. And then obviously, you're factoring in Juju Smith-Schuster, who I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. So it's a fair deal both ways. As long as Zeke is good.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't we read some questions here from Twitter?
And it helps that I was just gonna throw in that it helps that the other dude is 0-3. I feel like you always try to trade with guys that are a little bit in panic mode. But
he's
go ahead.
0-3 with Russell Wilson and Ezekiel Elliott. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. How about that?
Yeah. Rest of his team is not too nice.
All right. Let's see what we got here on Twitch. Father Rama, would you drop Russell Gage for Cole Beasley? And Brandon, you feel free to chime in any of these whenever you'd like.
Okay. I think that's tempting in the moment. I guess we'd have to see how long John Brown is out for before making a move on that. What do you guys think?
We also have to see how long Russell Gage
looked really good.
Well, Russell Gage is dealing with a concussion too, so that's part of it. So if you need somebody for this week, I think you go with Beasley and make the trade. If you or make the swap, if you if you can get by and just stashing Russell Gage, because you also have the Julio Jones injury working in as well. If Julio's out, then Russell Gage could be really good.
Yeah.
All right. This one comes from Andrew. Jonnu Smith or Dalton Schultz, half PPR?
I hope John is playing. That's the thing you got to keep an eye on right now. Dalton Schultz is got a big opportunity in front of him, but I would take Jonnu Smith still.
Okay. From Hussar Jr. 555, drop Keelan Cole or Mike Williams. Brandon, you can get the first word here. Who would you drop, Keelan Cole or Mike Williams?
Ooh, I'm a little biased. I'm a Chargers fan. I know one of very, very few, but I don't know. I don't know if we've seen enough of Herbert yet to know how much Mike Williams is going to be utilized, especially because he got hurt last week too. I would hang on to Mike Williams because it looked like Herbert was trying to throw the deep ball to Keenan Allen last week, and that's not the type of player Keenan is. So I'm thinking when Mike Williams comes back, those balls are going to be thrown to him.
Okay.
That's a close one. I might be a little biased right now.
All right, Ben, Jamey.
I'm in the same boat though. I think Mike Williams is better than Cole.
All right.
I'm probably dropping Mike Williams for Keelan Cole.
Jamey, this is Cali Cowboy 619. I have Evan Engram and Dalton Schultz. Would you drop either of them for Mo Alley Cox, Jimmy Graham, or Robert Tonyan?
No. I mean, you have a starter, and then you have a guy that still can blow up in Engram. So don't do that.
All right, here's another easy one, I think. PPR League from 50-something. Who would you rather have rest of season, Naim Heinz or Myles Gaskin?
Gaskin.
Thanks for Gaskin.
Still getting miles out of that, Jamey. I love it. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's do a grade the trade from Slick Bick 17. Cooper Kupp and Jonnu Smith for Josh Allen. His quarterback is Matthew Stafford. He has McLaurin and Fuller and Chark and N'Keal Harry and Deshaun Jackson. It's a 4-point per passing touchdown league. Would you give up Kupp and Jonnu Smith for Josh Allen? Brandon, you get the first word there. Actually, grade the trade. So a C is average. Anything C plus or higher is a win. How would you grade that trade?
Okay, I'd say the person getting Josh Allen, I don't know if he could keep playing like this for a whole season. I don't know if that's possible. And I won my league last year, and I started Phillip Rivers for 15 weeks. So I don't know how important quarterback is as opposed to having Cooper Kupp and then Jonnu Smith, who he had a really good week 2 weeks ago. I would stick with the depth. But Josh Allen, obviously, if he plays anywhere close to how he's been playing the first 3 weeks, then obviously you do it. I would give it person getting Josh Allen a C. I'd say keep the depth.
Okay. All right. Jamey, Ben, grade the trade.
I'll go D.
Ooh.
I think it's a C. I mean, look, Josh Allen is the best player right now, but he's not the best player in fantasy because Kupp is the better fantasy option. So you're giving up 2 starters for 1, but this is what we talk about. You know, when you see what your team is, we're now 3 weeks in, you see what you have on your bench, you see what's available to you on waivers, you see what you need to sort of help make yourself better. And Josh Allen's been a top 3 quarterback right now. So I think Brandon's right. Russell Wilson's the MVP, but Josh Allen's making a run for his money. And so we'll see if this can keep up like Brandon alluded to. I
do wonder, though, if Cooper Kupp had gotten 6 targets last week instead of 10, or if this trade had gone through last week, what we'd be saying, because Cooper Kupp, I think it was 8 out of 10 games or 6 out of 8 games or something with 6 or fewer targets. And then he got 10 in a crazy comeback effort at Buffalo. If he goes out against the Giants and has 6 targets again, then maybe we'd think different of it. But, it's hard to give up a wide receiver with as much potential as Cooper Kupp. All right, this is from Kyle. I have both DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Who should I be starting season long between Moore and Anderson?
I hope it's Moore. I hope that's the guy moving forward. But right now, you start Anderson.
Wow, really? Are you ranking him ahead of Moore?
You have to.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. From Fitty Pitties, who's a better drop candidate for a waiver ad if I'm looking long term? Devontae Freeman or J.K. Dobbins? So I guess the question is, like, you've got Freeman and Dobbins on your team. You're thinking long term, Brandon. Who are you keeping and who are you dropping?
I'm definitely keeping Dobbins. I think he has way more potential. If Saquon can't run behind the Giants O-line, then I don't know. Someone in my league bid a crazy amount on Freeman, and he got made fun of. Up until right this second, he's still getting made fun of. Ever since last week, he bid a very large amount of his auction money on Freeman, and I don't know. I'm not too high on him. I actually didn't even bid a single dollar on Freeman, so I would definitely keep Dobbins for sure.
All right, we're going to test your Chargers bias here. I'm going to give you another grade the trade, and we'll see where you come out on this. Give up Keenan Allen, get Will Fuller and Adam Thielen. Give up Keenan Allen, get Will Fuller and Adam Thielen. Grade that trade.
Okay, I mean, obviously, Deshaun Watson's got to throw it to somebody. It's going to be Fuller or Brandon Cook, so I think Fuller is going to get a lot of targets, and then Thielen is – although Jefferson had a crazy game last week, I think Thielen is still number one. So I'd say you obviously have to give up Keenan for those two, unless you're already solid at receiver. But I'm assuming if he's giving 1 for 2, then he probably needs some help. Yeah, Keenan got a bunch of targets last week though, like a bunch.
19.
But I would probably trade Keenan for those two though. It hurts to say, but I would probably do it.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Sure.
Jamey, let's talk about Keenan Allen, right? 8 targets in week 1, 10 targets in week 2, 17 targets. Did we lose Jamey?
I don't think Jamey wanted to talk about Keenan Allen.
Ben, let's talk about Keenan Allen. 8 targets in week 1, 10 targets in week 2, 19 targets in week 3. Schrager's not going anywhere. And he's been great the last 2 weeks, 96 or more yards, had 132 yards and a touchdown last week. Are you buying it or are you selling it with Keenan Allen?
I'll buy the 8 to 10 targets and the 80-plus yards. I mean, he's done that throughout his career, and I needed to see it with Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod Taylor's not the quarterback now, and I don't really think he's going to be the quarterback moving forward, even though they're saying he will be. So I'm buying Keenan Allen as a must-start wide receiver 2 at this point.
All right. Selfish Hades 36 says, favorite buy low player at every position. Lamar Jackson.
Deshaun Watson. All right.
I'd say Lamar Jackson. I'm very interested to see what happens with Deshaun Watson because I didn't draft any of Deshaun Watson, but can't judge him yet. But I just saw a trade go down in one of my leagues for Lamar Jackson, and it was a steal. So I think you can get him for cheaper. You say Deshaun Watson, I say Lamar Jackson. Brandon, if you have any ideas, you throw them out there. Your favorite buy low at each position.
I'll give you one. Which is a running back that I have on my team and on my bench. And I've been talking to Ben, actually. Joe Mixon, there's no possible way his value can drop any lower than it is right now. So I'd say as someone who has him on their team, you keep him at least until he breaks out. If you plan on trading him, you don't do it now. And as someone who doesn't have him on your team, go to a Joe Mixon owner and see what you could get or see what you could offer. You know, I feel like you could get him for really cheap right now. And he does tend to turn it around later on in the season. I'm hoping. We'll see. Definitely a buy low running back.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. Hang on to him if you have him, and there's a good chance for a buy low there. Ben, you got a buy low wide receiver?
I was going to say Kenyon Drake's another running back that I'm trying to buy low on. At wide receiver, I would love to buy low on Mike Evans. I think he had the 2 touchdowns. People are going to be discouraged by the lack of yards in 2 out of the 3 games, but he's going to be really, really good without Godwin there. And if you can give up a wide receiver 2 for Evans, I would love it. Or a running back 2, I would love it.
Yeah, I think AJ Green is my answer there because, again, I mean, people are dropping AJ Green, so I think yeah, I'm trying to think of what.
He looks so bad though, right? He looks old. He looks.
I didn't get
separation.
I didn't think so. But maybe. But I think the targets will be there for him, and they've run the second most plays in the NFL. They're going to throw a ton. So I'm looking at him, and I don't really know. There are not obvious, because like Mike Evans is a great example. He caught the touchdowns. That kills his potential to be a buy low. So Thielen came to mind. I think his production is going to go up. It's a buy kind of low on him. And at tight end, I am going at Evan Engram. I don't think Evan Ingram's going to be great, but I think he's going to be usable. If you want someone who's going to be great, you go to Mark Andrews. But another buy, Deebo Samuel's another guy. If you can't just get him on waivers, I'm kind of interested. I think he could have a big impact. But
I'm going to Brandon's team for my tight end. I would love to. I'm thinking about doing it in my main league. Hunter Henry. He's someone who's produced.
He's not.
But he has not scored.
Low, though.
He hasn't scored though. He's
too
good, but he hasn't scored.
That is a
All right,
consistent player. Consistent.
we're connection's a little wonky. We're having some connection issues tonight. Jamey just left. We're working on it with Brandon. Brandon, let me hear you talk. Let me see if that connection's better.
Yeah, I actually moved spots because I thought it was me. So I'm behind the door now.
You're good, man. You sound good.
Okay,
Good.
Cool.
All right, here's a question from YouTube. Would you trade Dobbins, a second-round pick, and Fournette for Alvin Kamara in a dynasty PPR league?
Oh,
man,
I would. I definitely would. It's a lot to give up for Kamara, but Kamara just locked in a nice long-term contract, and he's going to be a top 5 running back until the end of that contract.
Mm-hmm. That was not from YouTube, by the way. That was from Twitch, from Shams Moon 22, who just subscribed. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Shams.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, thank you. All right. Our Aramaic 80. Should I drop AJ Green, Jerry Judy, or Darius Slayton for Justin Jefferson in a PPR keeper league? AJ Green, Jerry Judy, or Darius Slayton for Justin Jefferson?
Not AJ Green.
If it's dynasty, I would honestly think about dropping AJ Green, but keeper makes me think that you only keep 4 or 5 players. So no, I wouldn't make any moves there.
Okay. By the way, Jamey texted me his internet went out, so we forgive him. He's trying to get back in. Would you? This is a very similar question. Would you drop Jerry Judy for Justin Jefferson? No, I don't think I would.
No.
I don't see. I don't really buy into rookie wide receivers, but I do. You know what? I think Jerry Judy's a sneaky buy low. They got to get their quarterback situation figured out. But if you can afford to stash him for a little while, I think he could pay off because he gets 8 targets a game. You're not going to get that from Jefferson. G Kozak 50. If I had Cole Beasley or Higgins, who would you rather drop, Chenault or Curtis Samuel in PPR?
If you need a starter this week, Jamey said it best. You need a starter this week, you drop Chenault for Beasley. But otherwise, I think you stay put for long-term value.
Even with Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, there's upside there, just like there is on the waiver wire.
This is from Sorry Mix Jackson. Would you drop Boston Scott or LaMichael Pirine? Yes.
Yes, just drop him now.
Yes, drop LaMichael Pirine for Damian. Look, Pirine got a little work last week, but Le'Veon Bell's coming back. Let's get one for Brandon here. From HK Chebley 96. Should I trade Christian McCaffrey and AJ Brown for Kenyon Drake and Cooper Kupp? McCaffrey and AJ Brown for Kenyon Drake and Cooper Kupp. He has Mixon, Eckler, Fournette at running back, and crappy wide receivers.
Trading McCaffrey for that. Unless you're 0-3 and maybe 1-2 and you're getting desperate, I don't know. If you're 3-0 or 2-1, I feel like you could wait out McCaffrey's injury. But no, if you're I don't know. I feel like you can find a little bit of a better deal for the number 1 pick and AJ Brown. What do you guys think?
I agree with the running backs he has. Like, he can survive with those running backs.
Yeah. But he can't. But the wide receivers are where he struggles. Like if he's starting CeeDee Lamb, he's going from AJ Brown to Cooper Kupp, which looks like good right now. I think it's pretty even trade. I see both sides.
I agree. It's pretty even.
Okay. That's why we had so much trouble with it then. Who's the better pickup in a half PPR league, Sammy Watkins or AJ Green?
AJ Green.
The targets are there for he just doesn't. I don't know. The targets are there, and he's getting thrown to. I don't know. He'll pick it up one game this season, and once he picks it up, he'll take off from there. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I hope so too. This is a big week for him. Obviously, it's a prove it week. From I am Mikloit. Should I drop Henry Ruggs?
Or just drop him?
Should I drop him? And if so, who should I add? All right, so I would drop Henry Ruggs for Hunter Renfrow. I would drop well, it depends if you need a starter this week, because if they're both healthy, I'd rather have Ruggs. I would drop him for Justin Jefferson. I would drop him for Myles Gaskin. I would not drop him for any other running backs unless you're looking at Carlos Hyde or Jeff Wilson as a 1 week. Look, I think he's pretty droppable, quite honestly. I don't see a ton of value right now in Ruggs, personally. But like
I agree.
he's fine, but pick him up for somebody else who could be good. All right. We agree. Sorry, I stole that one. Fat Pat the River Rat. Rank these tight ends. I'm thinking this is for rest of season. Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki, Jonnu Smith, and Evan Engram. Evan Engram. So Fant, Gesicki, Jonnu, and Engram. How would you guys rank them?
Jonnu, Fant, Engram, Gesicki, Engram. Engram would be last for me.
What do you got, Brandon?
I like Jonnu and Fant 1 and 2 for sure. And then I guess the last two are kind of interchangeable.
Okay.
Adam, you're really bought into the Evan Engram emergence, huh?
No. No, he's last on this list. But it's hard to find tight ends, I think. Except Dalton Schultz is the only one, and he's 60% rostered. So trade might be your best way to go. There is no way Evan Engram is going to continue to be this bad unless they bench him, because he fumbled. I don't know if you all saw the play. It got charged to Daniel Jones. It was Evan Engram. He should have had that ball. It was a pitch. It was like a backward pitch, and he's not playing very well. But unless they just say, like, we're done, you're dropping too many balls, you're fumbling, he's going to have to play better, absolutely, with Sterling Shepard out, with Saquon Barkley out, and with the Giants being so bad, and they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. So, that's the only thing I'm buying. I'm really buying into Noah Fant, though. I'm concerned that his quarterback is going to hold him back. But what did he have, 10 targets last week? I
think it's the kind of thing where crappy quarterback is probably only going to Noah Fant. So
I'm
cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so here's Light a Backwood. How much fab on Dalton Schultz? I'm struggling at tight end.
I wouldn't go over 10%. I like Schultz, but I would much rather pursue one via trade than use up fab on a guy who could be good, but he's not in the top 12 must-start tier, I don't think.
All right, here's a trade question, Brandon, from CCrest020. Trade DJ Moore and Mike Davis for Mike Evans or DK Metcalf. So first pick the wide receiver you want, Evans or Metcalf, and would you trade DJ Moore and Mike Davis for that guy?
Okay, so I'd go Metcalf just based on how Russell Wilson is throwing that thing this year. He's throwing it like crazy. And Metcalf has a touchdown in every single game this year. Should have had 2. We know what happened a couple of days ago.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it would be Moore and Davis for Metcalf. Moore has been a disappointment. I don't know how long that's going to last. I think he's going to pick up this season. And then Davis played pretty well against my Chargers. So, I don't know. I would say the one getting Moore and Davis wins short term, but obviously when McCaffrey comes back, Metcalf is the winner there.
It's a pretty interesting.
I think it's an even deal, right?
Look, it depends how you feel about DJ Moore. We're going to talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. Chris Towers brought it up on Monday's show. DJ Moore is running deeper routes than he used to, and Robbie Anderson's ADOT, average depth of target, is like less than 9 yards, and usually it's around 15 yards. So he's the best fit right now for what Teddy Bridgewater does based on the routes they're running. And that's really interesting. So if you're concerned about that, then you have to downgrade DJ Moore. But if you just think DJ Moore's off to a bad start, Chargers were a brutal matchup. They shut down a lot of good wide receivers. He was great in week 2 against a really tough matchup. He had like 130 yards against the Bucs. Then he's just as good as Mike Evans or DK Metcalf, based on what we thought in the preseason. So it's a lot to give up, but I think there are reasons to be concerned about DJ Moore. But I'm not sure I'm giving up Mike Davis. I think he's going to be really good for at least 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Jamey?
Hey.
Oh, look at this. From Island Broker. Ben is morphing into Heath, and Adam hopes to morph into Jamey. Wow. Jamey, what do you think? You the guy that I hope to morph into you?
You've been trying to morph into me for years, ever since you peeped me in the bathroom.
Kenny Galladay or CeeDee Lamb?
Galladay.
Garrett Cole or Shane Bieber? Oh my gosh.
Cole tonight.
Crushing them right now. 7-2. Terrific stuff. This is what's great about Twitch. I get to like just be myself, and some people hate it, and that's fine. Would you drop Corey Davis, Zach Moss, or DeAndre Swift for Justin Jefferson? That's from Steve. Drop Corey Davis, Zach Moss, or DeAndre Swift for Justin Jefferson.
I'll drop Davis for him.
None.
Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably hold on to all three over Jefferson, unless we see a little bit more consistency, one more big game, because I think Thielen is still the guy over there.
Okay, Jamey, how patient are you going to be with DeAndre Swift?
I'm going to be patient. It's not like I know Adrian Peterson's had 2 good games, but it's not like they've been like 2 monster games. And he actually, I didn't check what the snap count was for week 3. If you know that, either of you, Ben or Adam or Brandon, if you know the snap counts for the Lions. Swift was playing ahead of him in the first 2 games. And so when they're chasing points, he's going to be on the field more. And I think his playing time will go up. I know Peterson played more than Swift, because Swift only played 5 snaps, but that was again them playing with
Peterson played 40 snaps. Carry-on played 20 snaps, including some inside the 10, inside the 5. And yeah, DeAndre Swift played 6 snaps in week 3. All right, let's finish up with a few questions here. We got a couple minutes left, so we'll go quickly here. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
This week or rest of season?
Both.
Rest of season.
Lamar.
Yeah.
Okay. Jamey, who you got this week, Jackson or Allen?
I have Jackson this week.
Should I trade Austin Eckler, Sony Michel, and Hollywood Brown for Christian McCaffrey and Chris Godwin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Sucks to give up Eckler, but yes.
I hope you're 2-1 or better, but yeah, that's a lot. That's a heck of a haul. Okay, I'm thinking of offering Zach Ertz and Todd Gurley for Travis Kelce. I have Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, James Robinson, and Kareem Hunt. So should I give up Ertz and Gurley for Kelce?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. In that case, yes.
All right, Brandon, I'm going to give you this one. Beastie Boys or Run DMC?
Shoot, you guys caught me at a topic that I'm not,
Don't worry, I don't know either.
Yeah, Brandon, Straggy B doesn't know either. So, Jamey, Beastie Boys or Run DMC?
I love both. I would probably go with Run DMC because they are like the godfathers, but they're both awesome.
All right, one more question here. This is a good one. Is Philip Lindsay worth holding on to in a half PPR league?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hey, Brandon, thanks for coming on, man. It was awesome having you on.
Yo, thank you guys for having me. I had a lot of fun. And, yeah, anytime you guys are doing something like this and I have time, I'm always down to join, always.
Even with those 10 leagues that you're going to be in, we appreciate you taking the time, man.
One more. Ask Ben how much advice I ask him for. If you guys put me in another league, his phone's going to be blowing up. It won't work anymore. It won't work.
That's Brandon Awadis. You can watch him on YouTube, Browadis, Brawadis. I'm Adam Azer for Jamey Eisenberg and Ben Schrager. Make sure you're listening to Fantasy Football Today in 5, first thing in the morning, 5 minutes of fantasy advice. Of course, the podcast. I know you all listen to that. We are back Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern to answer your start or sit questions. And we got the watch party on Sunday at 4 p.m. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you on tomorrow's show.